Coach Alexa is here waiting for
Hi.
us. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for waiting. I'm sure you were very curious what we were doing.
Yeah.
This isn't a fix, it's a flow. Choosing the rhythm daily. Thank you for being and bringing that to us. She stands for making regulation something. We're going to find out. She believes the return is. She is committed to helping families integrate. She's going to tell us. And she is here to remind us that commitment is something. So, all yours.
All right. Thank you. This has been an amazing summit. We've had a lot of information, and I'm hoping to tie everything together a little bit. Just to begin by inviting you, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes and notice just one thought passing through your mind right now. Just observe it. You don't need to chase it. There is no need to push it away. Now I want you to gently try and bring your attention back to this moment, to your breathing, to the sound of my voice, and to being here together at this amazing summit. And that's all flow really is in a small synopsis. It's noticing when we've drifted away and choosing to return again and again. There's obviously a lot more to it, but that is a small peek at it. And throughout this summit, I've hoped that you've learned that what we've been told before about this work, this healing, this learning being linear as being one big breakthrough, that's not the truth. The real truth, real regulation, it's not a place that you arrive at, you check off your list. It's something that you have to choose day after day. This work isn't about fixing anything. It's about returning to yourself, to your rhythm. And that return, it doesn't have to look perfect. It's not going to look perfect. It just has to be chosen. And so I want to start with a little story. I have two little ones. They are ages 1 and 4, so pretty little. And my oldest is autistic. He thrives on predictability and change, and the unknown can be so challenging for him. Recently, he went with my parents to an arcade amusement park, and it went beautifully. He actually tried a few rides for the first time, and he absolutely loved them. It's one of the pictures I got of him. So my husband and I thought, okay, awesome. Let's go back. Let's make some more memories. Let's do this. Let's try something new. But for him, when he came back with all of us, it was not fun. It was overwhelming. So cue a full-blown screaming meltdown. And there I was in the middle of an amusement park, flustered, overstimulated, overwhelmed, and not knowing what to do next. So I took a moment. I stepped away. I breathed, I grounded, and then I returned with a different approach, a curiosity approach like Lori just talked about. Did we ride every ride? No. It was definitely not picture perfect, but I chose the return. I chose to stay in the flow however messy it looked, and that was what mattered. Now, I'd love if you feel comfortable enough to take a moment to type into the chat how you choose to return when things get hard or when things are challenging for you.
For me, it's the breath.
Yeah.
Just taking a deep breath.
I definitely find breathing helps. Things as simple as going for a drive. I know some people taking a walk, just whatever it is, it's beautiful. And that's your personal rhythm. Oh, I like that whispering. And it's your own personal rhythm and your way of the return. You like that? Wonderful. Taking a moment, walking my dogs. I do that too. I walk my dog. That's a great way. And breathing like we've been doing throughout this summit. Awesome. This is your rhythm. This is your flow. And it's okay that it's all going to look different for everyone. That's what makes it beautiful. Now, I want to talk a little bit about a student as well that I worked with. And he was trying to balance college and a part-time job. That is not an easy task for anyone. In the past, he was able to do school or work but not both. And something would always suffer. He'd either be failing the class or he would lose the job. But this summer, something clicked. He found his flow. He was staying on top of assignments. He was getting good grades, showing up to work, and he was proud of himself. He had found that flow. But then a few weeks later, we met for a session, and I could tell right away something was a little off. He looked defeated, and he told me he'd been let go from his job. I could hear the hurt in his voice, and I could see it. His shoulders were slumped. He was in that red traffic light zone. And I could see how disappointed he was. And he kept saying things like, I thought I was doing well. I thought I had it. He was truly afraid that this setback meant that we were back at square one. So I listened and I let him feel all of the feelings he needed to feel at that moment. And then I reminded him of something simple but powerful, that this one setback does not erase his progress. It did not mean all the work was gone. It just meant that it was time to return. This is lifelong work. This is not about getting it right all the time. It's about choosing to come back to your tools and your mindset and your rhythm, all of the things that our wonderful speakers have been discussing. And a big blocks to flow method that I love using is the mind soil. And I want you to think of your brain like a garden. And I know we've talked about this a little bit. And when you're gardening, you do not just throw seeds on the ground and expect tomatoes to grow the next day. Or Kohila's plant, we don't lift them out of the ground unrooted and expect them just to continue to thrive. You prepare the soil, you plant the seeds, you water them, you give them light, and you do it over and over again. And it's the same thing with your thoughts. You have to check in regularly. What's going on in my mind right now? Are these thoughts helping me or stressing me out? Am I being kind to myself? That check-in is how you start clearing out the clutter. It's how you begin building supportive thoughts and beliefs. And when you do, that is you tending to your mind soil. You're showing up for yourself. And it's not a quick fix. There's no magic wand. I wish there was. It's just choosing every day to return, even when it's messy, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And one simple practice that we do in my house that is something I like to call like a breathe and reset ritual. And it's a small but powerful ritual that I find, and it's normally done, we try to do it before bedtime or before dinner or any time of the day that tends to feel off. You know, those times in your days where you know this is going to be rough. So we pause and we take 3 deep breaths together, just 3. We inhale and exhale, and then we do it again, and then we do it once more. And that's it. Yet it roots us. It helps us ground, connect, reset, and it reminds us that a regulation doesn't have to be complicated. It can begin with a breath and with a presence, with choosing to return to each other. Here's something I would like you to try today. And you can write it in the chat if you'd like, write it in your journal, or just think it. I want you to ask yourself, what's going on in my mind right now? And then I would like you to ask yourself, how can I reframe this to support myself? Now take a moment to do this, and I want you to know that this might feel weird, and that's okay. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And eventually that's when you're going to notice your shift. And I will say for myself, if I had to think what's going on in my mind right now, it was right before I started, and it was, I'm not going to do this. I can't do this. And all of those negative thoughts that come up. But I was able to reframe it to think, I'm going to do this. We're going to get through it. And I have all of the tools and all of the people I need to support me to get through this. And something as simple as that will help us. Now, I want to take a moment to talk directly to parents, teachers, caregivers, everyone attending. I see you. I know personally that this is not easy. especially with everything and all of the chaos going on in the world today. You want to make a difference. You want to help your kids. You want things to feel easier. So let me tell you something that many of us have been saying, and that matters more than you may realize. You're showing up. That is huge. Even when you feel stuck, even when it feels like showing up is not enough, what if it is? What if the real transformation comes from the simple act of returning again and again? What if building rhythm instead of chasing perfection is the shift that your family needs right now? I don't have all of the answers, and I would never pretend to. But what I do know is this: healing and growth aren't things you finish. They're things you practice. One breath, one step, one return at a time. You're not late. You're not broken. You are becoming. And every time we choose to return, even in the mess, even in the pause, you are already leading your family back to safety. I want to finish with a shared breath that we can have together. Let your body relax. Let yourself be present. And I want you to gently say to yourself that even when the rhythm breaks, my return is enough. And as we end, I want to finish with one final reflection. I want you to think about one gentle return that you want to choose today. Thank you guys so much for having me and letting me close it and bring everything all together before our wonderful keynote speaker.
Yes, thank you, Alexa, Coach Alexa. That was so powerful. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable about sharing your son. But I have to ask you to teach us how you taught your young daughter to.
Yes.
I love that breath. I've been using it since you told me. So
Yes.
can you lead us through that breath?
Yes, I can. So I was talking about this on the
Perfect.
podcast with Kohila, and my daughter is 21 months old, and she sees me taking deep breaths with my son, but she thinks that we're blowing on food because it's hot. So every time she sees us taking deep breaths, she goes, hot. And that is her deep breathing. So I don't say hot when I do it, but if you can lead us in those breaths of just like breathing out the stress and anxiety, it's become something I think is fun to do. So we'll do 3 together. We'll just do 3 big breaths out. And so that is her deep breathing, and I follow along. And it is my funny story of how she joins in our breathing exercise.
See, she's only 21 months and you didn't even have to teach her. She just models it. She just watches it and
Yeah.
follows it. See? So amazing. Awesome. Do you have some, I'm curious, do you have gifts for us?
I do. I have the first, if you already email me at my email on the screen or use the QR code there, I want you to email me today and you can book a clarity meeting. And the first 5 families that I hear from are going to get those discovery days to uncover those blocks, spark those breakthroughs, and work on building on that return. You're going to get that completely free.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
very
so
welcome much.